about debt after you've passed away, because your debt doesn't automatically disappear when you pass away, but it also doesn't necessarily pass to your family either, at least not in most cases. Let's talk about what happens and how debt is handled after one has passed away. I'm Darcel Lobo. I'm an estate planning attorney in the Seattle area for over 16 years now, helping clients with estate administration and probate matters. So after you've passed away, let's talk about your debt and what happened to it. So the debt is the responsibility of the estate to be paid. So upon your passing, an estate is created. So the debt is paid by the estate, not by your individual heirs, not by family members. And so whatever assets your estate has, from your real estate, your investments, your checking, your savings, any vehicles, whatever assets you have, those are liquidated, and then your debts are paid before the inheritance is given to the heirs that you have in your will or in your trust. So that's how the debt gets paid. It is by your estate. Now, the types of debts we're talking about generally unsecured debt, so credit card, medical bills, things of that nature. If you have any debt that is secured, like a mortgage for a house or a car loan for a vehicle, those are attached to that collateral. So that mortgage follows that house, that car loan follows that vehicle. And so those items are still attached to those collateral types. So those will still survive, and depending on if those assets get sold, depending on what happens with them. But if they're sold, then those liens against the car or against the house will get paid at closing before the distribution is made to the estate from the sale of those items. Now, there can be a few circumstances where family or loved ones are responsible for your debts personally, but this is only if you set up the account that way. So for instance, if you have a co-signer on a loan for you, if the credit card is a joint credit card that you're both on, then upon your passing, the credit card company or lender can then look to that other person, that co-signer, that co-borrower, to collect on that debt. But otherwise, if there is no co-signer, if there is no joint debt, then it's going to be paid by your estate. One other exception can be community debt. So if you are married and debt was incurred on behalf of the community, whether in just one spouse's name or in both spouses' name, there could be a community liability there. That could be a community debt that needs to be paid by a surviving spouse in that situation. And so otherwise, outside of community property laws, outside of there being a co-signer or a joint account holder for a debt, generally speaking, the debts will be paid by the estate. If there isn't enough in assets to pay all the debts, then that can be what we call an insolvent estate, where there is not enough funds in the estate to pay all creditors. And in that situation, there's a priority as far as what creditors get paid in what order. So you have like secured debt, and you have debt to the government, and then you have general unsecured debt. So there's different categories of debt types if there is not enough assets to pay all creditors. If you're facing that situation, it may or may not make sense to open probate in the first place if you have an insolvent estate. So you want to ensure you're talking to an attorney if you are maybe the executor of an estate where there's not enough assets to pay all the debts. But otherwise, if there are enough assets to pay all the debts, that's how they'll get paid, by the estate, generally speaking, except for those few exceptions that we went over. And so there's no need to be concerned about your debt being passed on to family or loved ones. In most cases, your estate is going to be the one that pays for those debts after you passing. But you want to ensure you have an estate plan in place. So if you need help getting your will done, getting your trust done, and having a plan in place, again, I tell most of my clients that having an estate plan in place, no matter how simple or how complex it may be, is one of the best gifts you can leave to your family and to your loved ones, is to have a plan that's in place. So if you need help getting your estate plan done, updating your estate plan, deciding what you want for your estate plan. Do you want a will? Do you want a trust? Reach out to our office. We're happy to see if we can help you and schedule a consultation. We do them by phone, by Zoom, or in person, and we'd be happy to see if we can help you and get your estate plan done. Our contact information is listed below for you, and I'll see you in the next video.